Man's Search for Meaning is one of the most inspiring and influential books of the 20th century. If you have not yet read this book, then don't worry, because I will share some of the most vital life lessons that I have learned from this book. This book is sold over 10 million copies. Man's Search for Meaning is an inspiring book that teaches us it is our primary duty to find the meaning of your life and live up to it. It does not necessarily answer, but certainly explores the idea behind the meaning of life. Here are some of the incredibly valuable life lessons that you should learn from this book. The number one is there will be suffering. It's how we react to the suffering that counts. Franklin claims that one finds meaning in life through three ways. Number one is through work, especially when that work is both creative and aligned with the purpose greater than ourselves. The number two is through love, which often manifests itself in the service of other people and the world. And the last one is through suffering, which is fundamental to human experience. It is this third category that was put to the ultimate test through Franklin's experience in concentration camp. If there is a meaning in life at all, then there must be a meaning in suffering. Suffering is an ineradicable part of life, even as fate and death. Without suffering and death, human life cannot be complete. The test then for all of us is how we respond to the suffering in our lives. The way in which a man accepts his fate and all the suffering it entails, the way in which he takes up his cross, gives him ample opportunity, even under the most difficult circumstances, to add a deeper meaning to his life. So, coming to the next point, which is make pain your friend and learn from it. In the human mind and body, the human mind and body are tougher than what you or I think. In this book, Franklin talks about his terrifying experience in the different concentration camps during the World War. He and his fellow men were stripped naked, shaved completely, and had all of their documents taken away and burned. They had no name except a number tattooed on their skin. They were forced to walk under harsh conditions. Still, some of them managed to somehow endure everything despite all the suffering they have gone through. Franklin, some of his friends and other prisoners endured some of the toughest situation human can ever experience when they are moving through different concentration camps. Victor's life experience give us a clear example of what our mind and body can endure. We, the human species, can literally adapt, get used to almost anything. If we can push beyond our limits and keep ourselves out of our comfort zone, we can achieve much more than what you can think of. Third point is make your purpose bigger than your fears. One of the most referred saying in this book are the words of Friedrich Nietzsche, who wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Most people in the concentration camp during the World War, along with Viktor Franklin, couldn't survive through the tough condition. However, Viktor and some of his friends did survive because they had some purpose. Viktor was hopeful. He wanted to meet his wife, his family. Once he was out of the concentration camp, he was rewriting his manuscript. So were his friends. They had defined some sort of purpose in their life, be it meeting their children or family, shelter somewhere distant, or be it any kind of unfinished task they had to do. The fourth point is your attitude defines your life. People easily get influenced by the environment, and that's true as well. But even at times of extreme situations, we get to choose our attitude. There is a saying by Ralph Waldo Emerson that a man is what he thinks all day long. Victor chooses to be optimistic and sees something in the future that he could live for, and when he was in the prison. He observed people who were ready to share their only bread even when they were starving. He observed that there are always decent and indecent humans. Decent humans can be found in every area of life, although they may be very few in number, but the small number is enough to prove that man has freedom to choose his attitude over any situation. No matter what situation we are confronted with life, we always have the freedom to choose our attitude and to remain true to our values and duty. The fifth and the last point is finding meaning is therapy for your soul. We need to stop asking about the meaning of life and instead think about ourselves as those who were being questioned by life daily and hourly. Our answer must consist not in talk and meditation but in right action and right conduct. Life ultimately means taking the responsibility to find the right answers to its problem and to fulfill the tasks which it constantly set for each individual. Viktor Franklin, after surviving through the horrors of Holocaust in World War II, wrote this book, Man's Search for Meaning, and laid a foundation of logotherapy. Logotherapy was based on the concept that humans are primarily motivated by the desire to find meaning in life. Victor also argues that life can have meaning in the worst of miserable situations. One example of logotherapy was Franklin helping with an elderly general practitioner who was struggling to overcome depression after the loss of his wife. He helped the elderly man to see that his purpose has been to spare his wife the pain of losing him first. This led the elderly man changed his attitude towards the suffering, which entirely changed his perspective. Finding meaning in life gives a purpose to live for. It strengthens resilience even in the face of adversity. Therefore, we all should ask ourselves questions once in a while, like who we are and what we need to do. The secret to life is meaningless unless you discover it yourself, wrote Somerset Maugham. So, what is the most important thing you learned from this video? Please write it down. And did you read this book? Which was your favorite quote from this book if you have read it? And if you haven't, then please do read this book. And don't go yet, because Inspiration Board brings more inspiring and insightful content every week on this channel. Please subscribe us and share this video as much as you can so that we can create a free thinking society. Thank you.